Hello and welcome back to another episode of On Trap's Hit Pause MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse podcast that doesn't know if this means that we should get divorced or renew our vows. I am joined once again by Jordan.
Hello, everybody.
I am Till, and we're going to be talking about Secret Invasion, Episode 4. Um, I didn't write notes for this one, so I'm gonna be like, why? I forgot I had to have the episode on my phone here so we can watch. But you were saying
I
that
wrote,
this is a short episode. I guess it is like 36 minutes.
yeah, I would say not a lot. It wasn't like a great episode, in my opinion, but there was a lot that was confirmed, or a lot that like a lot. I guess kind of a lot happened, I suppose.
Yeah.
Um,
Um.
like I wrote notes, so I have notes as
Okay.
well.
I'm glad you took notes. Just as a reminder, this is a spoiler podcast. We will be going into spoilers on all of Secret Invasion so far. Mostly episode 4. And I have a feeling that we're gonna be short on this episode. So we got a lot of other like news stuff that happened that we haven't been able to fit in other podcasts. So I'm sure that we'll be finally getting to that stuff. But what happened in this episode?
Let's see what happened first. I believe that it was our thoughts, probably along with a lot of people who are watching this, that um War Machine is
Yeah, I
a
was gonna say that we were
scroll,
right. Yeah,
and that was confirmed in this episode. So that was a pretty easy one to guess. It also started with uh, Gaia was shot in the last episode, and we all thought that she obviously was a super scroll, and that
hmm
was confirmed in this one because she used Extremis to
yeah,
heal the bullet wound.
we were right
So
about that.
we
Also,
were right about that.
also, I guess confirms that she was not fridged, as we were talking about last week.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of things were confirmed in this one. And then so this one was mostly about, it looks like War Machine was trying to also get Nick Fury's wife to assassinate him,
Yeah,
and which that was a weird angle for them to do when we knew nothing about Fury's wife right away, because now I'm just like,
they're
man,
going through flashbacks. Yeah,
yeah.
but
I was like, but to like just learn about Fury's wife and then to find out that she was technically sent to kill him or whatever. The backstory of her wife, however, was pretty cool.
yeah, those
How
are some good
she,
scenes. Yeah,
yeah, she got she took the body of a human who was dying, and that human was like, "You can have my body, but you have to make me some promises." And one was like, "You still have to be a daughter to my parents."
yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool. Um, she's there was another rule. I don't remember what it was.
Oh, she had to bury her at sea.
Yeah, yeah, and she buried the original human at sea. And the third was to never harm Nick. And
Yeah,
in the scene that we watched, they both did not shoot each other, and
yeah.
yeah,
We saw a flashback scene back from 2012, right after the invasion in New York, which was
yeah,
cool, showing how they were on a date, I guess.
right, yeah, I
And they do
yeah, that
de
was
aging on both of those actors.
Nick Fury looked exactly how he did
Yeah,
the first Avengers movie in 2012. So I thought that was really cool. I was like, man, he had his goatee back and everything, and I
yeah.
was like, that was wild. So
Now, do you think Gaia she grabbed how many vials did she grab? She just grabbed the one because I'm wondering if she just has Extremis or if she has all of the abilities that we saw on screen, or maybe they have more. Like maybe they've harvested more abilities than what we saw on the computer.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's more. If that was just the ones that they have perfected, or those are the ones that they're just recently experimenting with. I don't know what those. I hope they explain that more. Cause so what? You have to inject yourself, then you go into that machine, and it
They
like
just put the tubes in, and then you step into the machine, and then you get the powers. That's what it seems
yeah,
like.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I hope that machine gets destroyed, or at
Yeah,
least we understand how it works,
I'm
because that's
yeah.
gonna create a whole bunch of villains off of that thing.
I'm trying to think like what other things in the Marvel universe could they extract abilities from like events that happen.
Hmm.
Like any other aliens or like superpowered
There's
people.
definitely got to be a couple.
Yeah.
Like some elves must have lived right
Yeah.
from
There's
Thor
Asgardians.
2.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
Asgardians all over the place.
there's
Yeah.
Asgardians in Norway,
There's a lot
and
of people with abilities in She-Hulk, but
mhm,
I don't think any of them died or anything, so I don't know.
yeah. Well, there's a whole bunch of there's all I gotta get was their hands on a couple people who died during Endgame, since the war was on Earth. So if
Yeah,
they could get any body that was left behind from Endgame,
that's true.
or
Yeah.
the Avengers, the fight with the Avengers was
Did we see
on Earth in New
anybody
York.
die on the hero side? Because you would assume.
Mostly sorcerers. Mostly like the sorcerers. A lot of sorcerers died, and I think I saw like Ravagers die and
Yeah,
like some
probably.
Wakanda
Yeah,
people. It
yeah,
was
like
like
the
that's about it.
background ones. Yeah,
Yeah,
Wakandans, aliens, and and sorcerers.
yeah. That's like it. I was like, man, no tragedies for the people with powers though, eh?
Yeah. I'm wondering if any of the Eternals, because there's some Eternals that died. But what's his face? The bad guy
Just
from Eternals like kind of drained their abilities, I think. So maybe not.
true. Yeah, but there are deviants that have died on Earth, so maybe
Hmm.
they could get some deviants.
Yeah.
There's the aliens from the first Avengers movie that died, so I don't know if you can
Yeah,
get
the
them.
Chitari.
The Chitauri, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Um, yeah, War Machine's a scroll, or
Yeah.
James Rhodes is a scroll.
At least this one on screen is. I don't think War Machine was a Skrull this whole time. This
No,
one
no.
definitely acts different. So this
Yeah.
one's definitely been impersonating him. So we're gonna find him like tied up in his underwear in a closet or
Mm.
something. Like,
You would assume that yeah, he's still alive and they have him captured somewhere.
yeah.
Um,
Maybe we'll find him in one of those machines. Maybe he's
yeah.
hooked up in Norway with the electricity going in so someone could take his memories.
Yeah. Do you think so the episode kind of ends um with Talos dying. Like do we actually think he's dead or is this going to be another misdirect?
That's another thing I was wondering too. I'm wondering if so I had a couple theories. I'm like, either this is their way of killing off Talos because maybe that actors doesn't need, just like you don't need to bring him back for much else in the
But
MCU.
also like there's other scrolls that could impersonate Talos. And also
Hmm.
the original guy that he's based his look off of, I'm pretty sure he's not dead and he did work for Shield and he was just tied up in his office or something from a deleted scene. So I'm wondering like how that works because
Yeah.
I don't think he's dead, but he took his likeness and everything
Yeah.
within Shield. So
Yeah, I don't remember Miss Marvel that much, or Captain Marvel, so I can't remember about the original guy. I thought he just made up his own.
no,
Uh,
he was like Nick Fury's boss.
mm. I thought they had never actually met though.
No, because you meant like that comment and everything about um like we did it in Havana and
Oh,
stuff
you're
like
right. You're
that.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure then. But I was also wondering if maybe Gaia will find her dad and she'll have a couple tubes, and then maybe she can bring him back to life with some sort of power, or she can maybe put Extremis in him. I was also thinking about, since the Frost Beast, we don't know what the power is going to be for the Frost Beast. I was wondering
Yeah.
if maybe they can like freeze him and then
Yeah, put him on ice. Maybe.
yeah put him on ice until they can get him some power or something, like get him some uh something to save him, I guess, technically. So
It'll be a really tricky situation because that scene was an open firefight between the Skrulls who were pretending to be Russians but did a very poor job at doing so.
right,
And the CIA or whoever was protecting the president. Nick Fury was driving off with the president. and then Talos was dead in the middle or laying down on the ground in the middle of that firefight.
Yeah.
We're assuming that Gaia is watching over Talos because she doesn't trust that he's going to do a good job or anything. Maybe she impersonates one of the fighters there and like drags his body away in the middle
Yeah.
of the fight, and she's not worried about it because she has extremis and stuff. But
The fight scene
I don't
was
know.
very poorly done, in my opinion, too. Because like, there's like a fight happening between Gravik
Yeah,
and Fury's shooting at him and shoots him in the cheek, and his face gets blown off, and then instantly healed by Extremis. And all of the Marines are just fighting, like
yeah.
firefighting at something else, and not even worried
The
about the
focus
president
is
or
on
Fury.
yeah,
And they're just like I thought it was the dumbest fight ever. I didn't like any of it. I was like, this is hard to buy. I was like, none of these soldiers, almost the entire time, if you look in the background, the soldiers are just like this. Like they're
yeah,
just staring while everything over here is happening. They're just like it's like they just were like, hey guys, action. I just need you guys to stare with your guns and just stare that way for
yeah.
about 40 minutes. And it was such a weird fight to
The
me.
yeah.
Um
Um.
and they were supposed to be impersonating the Russians to make it look like the Russians were fighting,
Yeah,
but
and
then
they.
Gaia shape shifted like a couple times, and then we got confirmation that he used his second power. He used
I mean
his
Gravik.
Groot. Yeah,
Yeah,
what did I say?
Gaia.
Yeah, Gravik used his Groot powers in the middle of that, and
Yeah,
then only used it once. So I was
I
very
I
lame.
I wasn't expecting his Groot powers to actually look like Groot's arm. Like it
Yeah,
was made of wood, and I'm like, why is it made of wood? But I guess
yeah,
it kind of makes sense because when they do it in the comics, like their abilities look like that comic person. So
yeah.
when
I
they're Super Scroll.
That's a thing though in the comics. Is Super Scroll. It's actually
Yeah, I
it's like
mean,
that's a
I've
thing. Yeah,
got the comic right here. I actually just reread it because we're in the middle of watching this. I could
yeah.
probably find a image of a Super Scroll. I mean, there's one right here. My lighting's probably not the best, but he's got like Colossus's body, like metal body, Wolverine claws, and Wolverine's mask, and like Cyclops's
Hmm.
eye beam.
It looks like the Deadpool from the Wolverine
Yeah,
Origins.
Origins, yeah.
Yeah,
Usually, I think the first depiction was the Fantastic Four.
yeah.
So, yeah, they mimicked all of this Fantastic Four's abilities, and that was the first instance of the Super Skrull. But we
I
haven't
just don't
seen.
like that one. I get abilities or powers, but like Groot's power isn't really a power. It is just what their people can do, and it is
Yeah,
like literally bark and
could be
like
like a
it's like
Frost Beast and stuff, but
yeah. But how do you combine? So they basically
I
these
think
guys have not only just created like powers or something that amplifies your ability. They are literally
yeah,
just cross.
I think it's also just a nod to Mr. Fantastic being stretchy. Like they
Yeah.
don't have that reference yet in the MCU, so they're using Groot as that like
Mm.
way to put that in there.
It's just weird to breed scroll DNA with. I guess because of the scroll, it's not as bad. If it was a human doing it, I'd be a little bit more pissed off. But scrolls can kind of like, they're obviously their skin and their whatever can change. So
Yeah,
maybe he can kind of change his DNA to be able to use, make his arm look like bark and
yeah.
vines and literally become
Well, I
that.
mean,
I
we've
guess.
established that
Yeah.
they can transform their skin into clothes,
Yeah.
so so it's not out of the ordinary, I don't think.
Yeah, I guess I can sort of wrap my head around that. If it was like a
Yeah,
human who is just like using DNA to like change his ability, like if Fury all of a sudden just started using Groot arms, I'd be like, well, this is stupid.
yeah.
Like like I get it in comic books, but when you try to bring it to the MCU, like there's things that like just try to make it more realistic-ish at least so I can buy it.
Well, speaking of unrealistic, they've also introduced some more sci-fi MCU spy shit. There's the liquid tracker that they put into the drink for James
Yeah,
Rhodes, so they know where he's gonna be at all times. I guess
yeah.
I should say she's gonna be, because we got to look at the scroll that's impersonating him. No
That's a thing
idea
now.
who she is. I mean, there's probably a couple ideas from the comics, but they're kind of like playing fast and loose with character references from the comics.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I don't think too much else. I mean, yeah, there's like some key scenes, and those scenes like kind of dragged out, and yeah, as a shorter episode. I just saw something in this little promotion teaser that we have in the visual context triangle, though. I don't know if we want to be spoiled or not, but I was just spoiled. But what's going to happen in the next episode? It looks like.
What's that?
Do you want? Do you want? Should we do it?
Sure. Yeah. Let's
Okay.
see. What do you
So
think?
this is probably going to be spoilers for episode 5, but I'm guessing it's going to start off this way. I'm going to lift the visual context rectangle here. So this looks like it's going to be the opening scene for episode 5. Um, that is clearly Gaia in the fight, crying over Talos's body
Right.
from where we left off. So it does look like she's going to find Talos. Whether or not he stays dead is the question.
Yeah. I don't know. Gaia didn't die,
Yeah.
so I feel like Talos should die. Or if we do revive Talos, then Gaia's gotta die. You gotta kill off somebody. You can't have a whole war going on. I mean, I guess we lost Maria Hill.
Yeah, we did. Sorry,
We did lose.
I had to step off screen. Yeah, we did lose Maria.
We did lose
We
Maria Hill,
assume.
but yeah, we assume. I was like, I just have a hard time when everyone lives and just only civilians ever die. Then I have a hard time believing like anything. Like I don't know. But we'll see. It just seems
Yeah.
like the actor who's doing Talos, like I feel like there's not much else to do with him. So I feel like he could be dead.
Yeah. Do you think now that because Fury was trying to avoid calling any Avengers in, whatever Avengers we have, because I don't think we have any, he was reluctant to call any of them in to help because he didn't want the Skrulls imitating any of the Avengers. Now that we have a Skrull who has superpowers, do you think he's going to change his mind and call any of the Avengers?
I don't know. Seems like he's gonna call somebody. I feel like he just should just call Captain Marvel. He's gonna call anybody. Just get
Yeah.
Captain Marvel in here. I don't know who we'd see though. Like it's hard for me to decide like who's gonna
He's
join a
losing.
TV series for only like 1 or 2 episodes. So
Yeah. I mean, he's losing all of his friends now because Maria Hill is dead, Talos is dead. Who else does he have to help him?
I don't know.
Like,
His wife's done. Him and his wife we're not even sure. Are they divorced or are they? I don't know.
I
They
think
literally
I think she's going to go into hiding because they're gonna find out that she didn't. Well, they do know that she didn't kill
yeah.
Fury.
Because he said, should we renew our vows or should we get divorced?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a joke as to they have no idea where they're going to go from there. So I'm going to assume no help from his wife.
Yep.
And he's not going to get any help from War Machine because we don't know where War Machine is.
Unless he finds out where he is and then he helps him and says, "Hey, somebody's impersonating you, and we
Yeah.
gotta take him down."
But I don't know. Can War Machine beat Extremis and Groot and all these other powers? We might need something a little bit stronger.
I think he calls Captain America.
I don't know. Captain America's old.
Yeah,
Oh, you
yeah,
mean Falcon?
yeah. He
Falcon. Yes, new Sam. What? Sam
he had
Wilson.
his own
Sam
TV
Wilson.
show.
Yeah, yeah, we could see Sam
Yeah.
Wilson, Captain America, and um, maybe Winter Soldier. I always say Captain America still because I haven't seen a movie with our new Captain America yet. Like he hasn't come out as like he's only as like the end of the episode where he was like, "Oh, that's Captain America."
Which one do you think this is?
Who? Sorry.
This guy. Oh, sorry. You probably have a delay. So I'm
Oh.
holding up the Secret Invasion cover with Captain America on the cover. Got the shield and a gun. Slightly different costume, although my lighting's poor, so you probably can't.
I only know those two Captain Americas, so.
Oh well, this one is the Winter Soldier.
Oh, okay. Well,
becomes
okay.
Captain America.
I knew him too. I knew him too, because I almost just wanted him to become Captain America, and I wanted Sam Wilson to become Captain America. She only wanted it because she loves Sebastian Stan, and she wanted to see more of him. But I was like, dude, he's like 100 something years old. He wants to be. I was like, he doesn't want to be he's done fighting. He doesn't want to fight anymore,
That was the
which is
question by the time Endgame was around, was that everybody's expecting, Chris Evans is has no more of his contract left. He wants to be done with the character. They're probably going to kill him off or retire the character. So who's going to be the next Captain America? And in the comics, both Bucky and Falcon have a claim to the role. Um,
yeah,
and I think they chose right because I think it makes sense for the MCU to
yeah,
have Sam as Captain America and then Bucky, you know, um, try to do like I don't think Bucky's in a place where he is stable enough to be Captain America.
right.
Yeah,
That's what I thought too. I
yeah,
was like, he's done fighting. He doesn't want to fight anymore. So that's why when I was like, there's gonna be more Winter Soldier stuff. I was like, it doesn't make sense for his character anymore. As much as I love the Winter Soldier and I want to see him, it doesn't make sense for his character to just be like, okay, I'll do another fight. Okay, I'll do another
yeah.
fight. Okay, I was like, he wants to be done. He wants to live his life normally. He literally went from war in the 1900s, then to be like frozen and used as an assassin, killing people that he didn't want to
Don't
kill.
say 1900s, man. That's what Gen Z calls it, says that we're from, and it makes me feel old.
The 1940s, I think, is when they're from, or 1920s. When is I forget when the two of them went to war. I think it's the 1920s,
Yeah, I think it was the 40s. It was 40s.
40s.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Um. Yeah.
Was that were they on ice for like 70 years though? Yeah, I guess.
I don't remember.
Well, I guess it would be the seven.
Um.
Huh.
But uh. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen for. We got two more episodes left, right? So I'm not too sure what's
Yeah,
gonna happen in the next two episodes because they gotta find a way to wrap things up, but it feels like they're they just keep escalating at this point. So I really don't know how it's gonna wrap up because
I don't either.
we just saw the Super Scroll in action. So I
Yeah,
feel like it's gonna ramp up from there. So like, how are they gonna wrap up the story if it even does wrap up? Because following this, I think they've said following the events of this, we're gonna get Armor Wars, which is gonna be it was going to be a series, but now it's gonna be a movie, starring Don Cheadle. So we imagine that War Machine is gonna be back.
yeah,
So they have to wrap up that storyline as well, and then also and the Marvels. That's another one. So after this is gonna be the Marvels, and that's coming out soon. And then I feel like there's one other thing that's gonna be following this that they said is gonna be following this, but I can't remember what it is. Oh, I think maybe I want to say maybe Ironheart. Like the story here affects Ironheart, but I can't remember. I just realized I had separate audio going on our Twitch stream, so I'm gonna have to upload this one manually to YouTube as a separate audio track. So I apologize. Um, it's I've set something up on my OBS that like sets like vertical screens, but it also affects the audio. So I've been playing my regular Twitch audio over top of what we've been talking about. But I should be our separate audio should be recorded separately. Let me make sure so that way I don't have to we don't have to redo this podcast. But you keep talking.
Um, the only thing I was gonna say was I thought it was weird. I know Gravik was trying to make it look like the Russians were attacking, but
Yeah.
like he had Fury right there, and he could have easily picked apart everybody. It's easy to kill all the witnesses and everything and make it look like the Russians, and then fit the crime scene or whatever after. So I find it weird that Gravik just didn't just kill Fury, didn't just kill the president, or at least kill everybody, capture the president,
Mhm.
and then make it look like impersonate some Russians, and then make it look like the Russians have the U.S. president and are like making demands.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. To me, it just felt like they needed Fury to get away, and I was like, why? I was like, it felt so terribly easy that I was like, I feel like Gravik's toying with Fury still. Like I feel like there's another reason. Like I don't know why he didn't just kill Fury. So I don't know. I thought that was uh I don't know. I thought it was weird. Unless the only other thing I could think of is because he keeps doing these little bait things. I wonder if the president was a bait just for him to be able to kill
Could be. Yeah.
Talos,
Yeah.
and he didn't actually give a shit about the president at all, and he just wanted to kill Talos. I don't
That's
know.
true. Yeah.
Those are the only
Um.
things I was thinking of.
Yeah. If anybody's watching on Twitch, this is not going to be archived on Twitch because the audio is so messed up, but it should be fine for YouTube. I just checked. Our audio is separate. I can easily edit this without having to redo the podcast, so that's good.
Mm.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen next. We'll see, but I feel like this is gonna be a self-contained story. The only question is what's gonna happen to the Skrulls going forward, because I feel like they have to wrap up somehow. Because let's say they kill Gravik somehow, because I don't even know how you're gonna kill Gravik with Extremis,
Yeah, I don't
but
know. Like
um,
rip him in half, I guess.
yeah, maybe the only times we've seen people die with Extremis has been in Iron Man 3. So there's the one uh girl who was, I forget her name, who is the supposed to be the ex-girlfriend or ex-wife of Man-Thing from Werewolf by Night. Um she died from
That
like
explosion that
yeah, explosion in
Stark
the
made.
restaurant or something. There's like a
Yeah, it's like a
microwave.
gas in a microwave. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the one guy died from a unibeam blast from Iron Man's chest up close on an airplane.
Yeah.
We again, we suppose, because we don't know if these characters got back up afterwards. That's just the last time we've seen them. And then
Yeah.
Aldrich Killian died from Pepper Potts.
She
Um,
kicked like a missile
yeah,
from Iron Man's arm into him while he was surrounded by fire, and he
and
just
then
instantly
blew it up.
exploded.
Yeah,
So we could see maybe Don Cheadle's War Machine just annihilate him with missiles. Maybe
hmm,
if you can seclude him into an open field, and we just bombard him. But
yeah,
that would be a fight I would like to see. Just War Machine, just murder, because then we could get like not really a movie, but we could get our War Machine like versus a villain. You know, um, I don't know, kind of like a War Machine versus his boss sort of thing. It'd be cool to see War Machine just blow the shit out of a Super Skrull. So I could watch that.
yeah. Um, Yeah, so that's our thoughts on Secret Invasion episode 4. Curious to see what happens. I don't know. Yeah, it's the Skrulls thing is going to be the big situation, because let's say if they kill him, does every Skrull just fall in line and just like be like, okay, we're not going to do the invasion anymore, or is something bad going to happen to the Skrulls?
I feel like Captain Marvel has to show up, or at least somebody, and have to be like, all right, we gotta, you know, deport them off of Earth. I
Yeah,
guess I don't know who's gonna be the one to do that, but someone's gonna have to like deport them. It'd be kind
yeah,
of cool if we saw like Sam Wilson's Captain America show up with like War Machine and Captain Marvel, and they're like, you guys have to leave Earth, and that'd be pretty sweet.
mm.
But I honestly don't think he's gonna be the only Super Scroll. Like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to not. You have an
Yeah. It's
army
the
of
the
people
people
following you.
in the council, because they were all
Yeah,
there. He's like, we have to become Super Skrulls, so they were all going to be given superpowers.
I feel like it
So
should be like just why don't you make your whole army, make your whole army like that. Like, why not? They're following you
maybe,
already. Give
yeah,
them powers, and like then you
could
can
be,
make sure you take Earth. So
could be. Um, yeah. Well, we can talk about other stuff now, because there's hasn't been a big thing that happened. Um, the only other thing that's out that we could talk about is Across the Spider-Verse, but I have not seen that yet.
I have not either. So
Yeah, so we're gonna hold off on that. Um, but the writer strike is happening right now, which means a lot of stuff has been put on hold. However, there was some stuff that was already in production. We talked about Deadpool 3 last week. We talked about Daredevil Born, or yeah, Daredevil Born Again. There's Wonder Man, which is filming, and a few other things. I think Ironheart's wrapped up. I think some other stuff's wrapped up. But now the actors have joined the writers on strike. So definitively everything's on hold. There's nothing going on with movies and TV right now because everybody's on strike. So I feel like we're gonna have a drought of Marvel news for a little bit. So there's gonna be like slim pickings for stuff to talk about.
It seems weird
However,
for all writers and all actors to go on strike, doesn't it? Like you'd think it
yeah.
would only be like,
No, it's because it's the I mean this is a larger discussion in general, and I don't think we're the ones equipped to talk about that. There's a lot of other people that you can follow to follow this discussion, but what it stems down to is the landscape of these of everything has changed because everything is streaming now. All the rules and contracts and everything people have
mhm.
has been from old Hollywood productions, how everything used to work. Like Nielsen ratings on TV, movies and things like that in theaters, DVD sales, stuff like that. Now it's all streaming. There's more technology involved, particularly in regards to AI, that affects the writers and actors, and these studios have exploited that to make excuses to not pay everybody in the same way that they would with traditional productions and stuff like that.
So I guess we're using more AI stuff, and
Yeah,
uh,
like they brought up the head of the union for the right I think for the writers. I'm not too sure for the actors, but actually no, it would have been for the actors. The head of the union said they were trying to discuss a fair deal, and they were actually under the impression like that's what the case was. Everybody's acting in good faith. They sat down with them. They're like, no, everything that they gave us is disgusting. They wanted like background actors who barely get paid, especially like for streaming and stuff. Like
yeah,
they don't earn enough to live off this. Um they want to be able to like these are people that like try to start off in acting, right? So
right.
let's
So
say
they
like
just
this is your first gig, you're a background actor or whatever. You go into the studio, they want the ability to digitally scan you and um like use AI to like use you in anything going forward without any sort of compensation, permission or anything. You just get paid for that one time you show up on set,
uh,
and then
no,
that's it. You don't get paid anymore. Like you
because
know.
then there goes my entire
Yeah.
career of being an actor.
Yeah.
They'll just never use me again. No,
Yeah, exactly.
that's how up and comers come, man. That's how you find the greats. Like
Yeah.
that's how like Kevin Hart was like a background character in like the 40-year-old version and stuff. Like he had like a couple lines and he was like a side character. Like
Uh
background characters become side characters, and side characters become like you know,
yeah,
you know, then you can kind of
the
go higher.
guy who started off in um uh the what's those Vegas movies? I can't remember. There's like three of them. Um,
I don't
where
know.
like they get drunk and then they don't remember what happens and they have to
Oh,
like
The
backtrack.
Hangover.
The Hangover, yeah. Yeah, the Asian guy who Ken something. Um, I think he
Yeah,
started off in those movies, or it might have been another one where he was playing a doctor, and he's like,
he's a
yeah,
doctor in real life.
yeah, he is a doctor in real life. But then
Yeah,
because he got like these background roles, he's like, I like acting, and then he
yeah.
became like a breakout and
Yeah, he's
everything.
hilarious. He's funny. He started doing
Yeah,
TV shows. He's like amazing. Like
yeah.
he's in like everything. He was in Endgame. He was
Mm-hmm.
the background. Yeah. So then you scan my face once, and nobody will ever call me for another thing because they'll just use me in background
Yeah.
stuff all the time.
And they don't
What
need
if
to
you
let you
act?
know, and you don't see any royalties from that. And like
Yeah,
that's the kind of stuff that these studios want to do.
no,
And
you can't do that.
what makes me really upset is Bob Iger, so the temporary CEO of Disney, former and current temporary CEO of Disney. That's a whole like thing that we've skipped out on in our previous podcast. We never got around to that. But he was interviewed about this, and he was like, yeah, it's upsetting because the demands that everybody's asking for, they're not realistic. But he said that as he was heading onto his private jet to go to a billionaire's retreat. So I feel like that was particularly tone deaf and disgusting. So that's the kind of
Mm-hmm.
situation we're in right now. So this might go on for a while. It was leaked that the plans were for the studios. They're thinking that let's hold off until October. We'll lose money. We won't have projects in the pipeline, but if we wait until October, everybody's like rents will be due. They'll be out of money. They'll be begging to come back to work. That's
Oh,
the thought, to like hold off until October.
I saw that.
And I don't think um that the writers and actors are going to budge on that. I think they're going to stand strong. So I think we're going to be stuck with the situation for a while.
What's the actor, the guy who plays Hellboy?
That is Ron
Ron
Perlman.
Perlman.
Yeah.
Ron Perlman, yeah, also from Sons of Anarchy,
Hmm.
Pacific Rim, stuff like that. He had a very crazy video too. Did you watch that one as well?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
What he said. Yeah, I'm sure there's lots of. I only saw that one, but I'm sure there's other actors who feel the same way. And I'm like, man, like you can't threaten people with losing their homes as a
Hmm.
way to pay them less. Like that's so fucked up on a humane level. Like
Yeah.
you have all this extra money and you're like, I want to pay you the lowest amount I possibly can. I mean, it's how the rich stay richer, but it's like, dude, like I don't know, that's crazy. And so many people are gonna lose out on like their it doesn't make sense. There's so
Yeah.
many people who are up and coming actors and want to go further, and you're gonna like hinder that by not allowing them. I mean, like, no, if you're gonna scan my face and use me in a video or something, like I want royalties every single time you want put my face on,
Yeah.
and then I want to be paid as like an actor who's in that. And I want my IMDb page to just be filled with all these things you put me in.
Yeah, I
I don't know,
think
that's
I
crazy.
mean the use of AI in general, I think can be beneficial if you're using it as a tool to um you know speed up or streamline the process of production, not as a method to replace somebody.
Actors, yeah,
Yeah, just not even actors, like any sort, like we saw from we're seeing right now from Secret Invasion. That introduction is all AI. There's no art. I mean,
yeah,
studio claims artists were involved, but
yeah.
it was such a small, like the credits are such a small team that it's like a fraction of what you would hire to normally do that introduction. So
Right.
in my mind, you replace people by doing that. So
That's it. My take on that one is I don't want to see that going forward in everything. I want to see actual artists. I
mhm,
want to see whatever. I don't need to see AI based. I do think that the intro for Secret Invasion looks nice and I think it
mhm,
matches it because
yeah,
scrolls can take on the identity of everybody. So
mm.
to just make an AI generate all these different faces and that way, I don't know. I think
Yeah,
that's pretty
I
cool.
think it
But
does fit for the story, and it was like that was the creative intention, was to use AI for
yeah,
that purpose. But when you when you go to the studio and say, "Hey, I want to use AI," they're gonna be like, "Go for it." That means we don't have to pay people as much. But the conversation should have been, "Hey, we want to hire artists to make it look like we're using AI in this introduction."
yeah, yeah. Like if we go forward and we see another thing by Disney and it's the same thing, it's just AI based like intros. Like I'm gonna be like I don't need that. I want to see
Yeah,
actual human art. I was like AI and tech is cool when you're trying to I don't know
yeah,
like say you're whatever I don't know all the specifics, but when you're trying to de-age Nick Fury and make him look younger, make him look older, whatever. I get using computer stuff for that, but um
mm,
like art stuff I think should always be done or just use actors, just use
yeah.
artists, just use writers, don't AI
Well,
everything because I don't want to watch your I'm not a robot, I don't want to watch your robot generated
yeah.
shit.
Well, speaking of computers replacing actors, you want to talk about Daredevil Born Again?
What's going on with that?
Okay, so I think we had like an off-camera discussion a little bit here. I'll get rid of the visual context rectangle. So, Daredevil, there was a series for Daredevil previously on Netflix. You can now watch it on Disney Plus. It lasted for 3 seasons and a crossover spin-off season, and it is fantastic, and you should definitely watch it. But um, they did a lot of practical stuff on that show. A lot of choreography in the fight scenes and the acrobatics that Daredevil um, is what's like shown on screen.
Right.
But the character reappeared recently as first a lawyer on Spider-Man No Way Home, and then on She-Hulk, which Jordan has not caught up to those episodes, but I'm pretty sure you've been spoiled on a few things.
Yeah, I have.
Um, One of those things was Daredevil was a lot more nimble and acrobatic than we've ever seen on the Netflix show. That's because it was computer generated. So the former stunt person from the Daredevil show
Yeah.
has been pretty vocal about criticizing the new direction of the Daredevil show. I think he has some sort of insight. I think I have a quote here. So, according to him, he says they really, truly don't want it to be anything like the Marvel Netflix Daredevil. And I don't think, just as a side, I don't think he's specifically saying because we have the discussion about what's canon and stuff so far. I don't think anything that he's saying here specifically is in regards to that. I think he's just speaking on the tone and the direction of the series, but you
Right.
can interpret this however you want. He says that nobody worked on the original series other than the cast that they're bringing back is coming back. That cast so far is Charlie Cox as Daredevil and Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Fisk, and I don't think anybody else has been confirmed to come back yet. Um, he says, I mean, there were just some truly, truly wonderful people that worked on that show, and I think they really added to the magic of that show, and I think Marvel's making a big mistake, but what you gonna do? Um, says it's probably too late to change it now. Marvel has told every person working on that show that they don't want Born Again to look anything like the Netflix Daredevil series. Trust me, not only did I work on the show, I was one of the biggest fans of the show. He says, I think that Marvel Netflix Daredevil was a masterpiece. I think that the casting was perfect. I think that every showrunner, every person that worked on the show was a genius. It was an incredible experience, and in my opinion, what most people agree on, it was Marvel's best streaming show ever. I think that Charlie and Vincent crushed it as their characters. I think that every person that worked on the show absolutely nailed it.
Mm.
Um, I don't
And
know.
just
I will get
one
your
sec.
face. I will get your
I was
face
like,
back on. Don't worry.
okay. I was like, where am I?
Yeah,
I'm gone.
that's what
Okay.
happens when I switch windows and shit. Um,
Gotcha.
but yeah, just listening to that. I don't know if you have any thoughts on it.
Uh, I don't know. I probably have more thoughts if I had watched the last thing, but I do love Daredevil. And I don't know this guy, but obviously, like I think stunt doubles are awesome. Think they're very cool for the stuff that they do. I'd rather have an actual person do the stunts
Yeah.
because I always feel like when you make stuff look AI, it looks silly. I mean, I know it's getting more sophisticated, but like I always think of like the Matrix, and when you see them
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
jumping around and doing
Very
their
similar.
stunts,
Yeah.
yeah, you can see it's an AI, and it's like it looks like a
Not
cartoon.
even
It like
AI. It's just like computer generation.
yeah, it
Or like
looks
motion capture sometimes,
exactly
but
yeah, it looks too silly. It looks too fake. I'd rather have something real. So
I will
I don't
say
know.
like just watching She-Hulk and watching Daredevil move, I didn't have a
Yeah.
problem with it. And it did seem more in line with the character what you see on the pages in the comics because
Okay.
Daredevil does some like crazy flips and shit in the comics, so I think that's what they're going for.
Mm.
Um
Yeah, I'm like just get an actor that can do those stunts
I mean
or put them on
some of it's impossible. Like
put
you
on those
see it how he's moving around in She-Hulk, you're like, okay, nobody's gonna do that.
but you put the bungee cords on them and make them flip around and
Sure, sure,
let
yeah.
them do that. They can do that. Like Scarlet Witch can't fly, but you guys still hook her up to those bungee cord things and have her, you know, float down, float
I th-
up, whatever she's doing. Like just do that and have
yeah.
somebody jump around on like a I know I don't care. I don't really give a shit what it costs you to make it. You guys are already spending tons on these movies, on these shows. You make it all back.
Yeah.
So
I don't think it's not impossible that they could bring stunt doubles back for the character. I
right.
think it's mostly going to come down to, obviously the studio has some direction or influence on this because they want the character to look more like the comics. They're going to his traditional look for the color scheme here, um, that they've reintroduced the character as. But yeah, they want to be more like inspirational from the comics and stuff like that. Obviously, they have some sort of input, but I think it also comes down to who's directing it. You know,
Yeah,
because you have what's written on the script and everything, and how you're gonna do it. But like the director's like, I have a vision for this. I know how I want it to look. So they're gonna make the decision like, is this going to be computer generated or are we gonna hire a stunt actor? And maybe Daredevil shows up in a future project where they want to use stunt actors. But I don't know. I honestly don't have an opinion either way. I think I love the action scenes in Daredevil. The choreography and everything was amazing. It's a fantastic show. And I do agree with that statement. It's one of Marvel's best projects ever, like a series. Um, and I would love to see more of that. It definitely is more gritty and violent. But I also like the interpretation on She-Hulk, and I liked how he was moving and everything. I didn't have a problem with it. So either way, I'm fine. But I can sympathize with that statement. You know, like you worked for so many years on that show, and you were a huge fan of it and everything.
yeah,
Obviously, you want things to remain the same, but there's a different direction and a different vision for the character now.
yeah. I I could see that too. Like I know he said he was a big fan of it all, but like
Yeah.
you got paid for. I guess I can see that. I guess you got paid for the whole show.
Hmm.
This is now going to be a different show, right?
We
So they
we
don't
don't
need.
know.
I don't know. Yeah, whatever this is gonna be, like they
Yeah.
don't need to hire you for it if they don't want. Not every actor has a stunt double,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Like, I think that's like a little different than being replaced by AI generation generated. If they have a set thing they want to look for, if you can't do it, or I don't know, if AI, I guess if AI does cost less than hooking up all those, setting up the entire thing for you. I guess I get some of it, but replacing it all together, I think is crazy. Like you could still
Yeah.
have a stunt double do some of the big stuff, and then the things that like you want it to look a certain way, then just use AI for it if it's that cheap or whatever.
Um, Another thing that recently happened in the news, um, Benedict Cumberbatch has been interviewed recently,
Hmm.
and he made a statement that we're gonna see Doctor Strange in something next year. Now, he didn't say that exactly. I'm gonna put up the quote because I think you could interpret it two different ways. Um, Let me find. It's like he said. So the quote is, "There are some Marvel capers in the making next year." So
Hmm.
that could be that, and this was before the strikes,
Yeah.
or particularly before the writer strike or before the actor strike. I think the writer strike was going on, but I think the plan was, um, like I don't know if he's filmed something and he's going to appear in something that was scheduled to happen next year, or if
Right.
there's a production that was supposed to be starting next year. And I just thought like we can just like discuss what is that going to be because we don't have a Doctor Strange 3 announced.
No.
So what do we think that is? I'm gonna look up Marvel Phase 5 release dates and then we'll see. But you can discuss.
I don't remember what if he was the original voice for his Doctor
Oh,
Strange or
that's
what if,
true. Yeah,
but
like a voice role.
yeah, he could
Yeah.
just be reprising his role of Doctor Strange as just a voice role for What If.
When is
Um,
What If? Because that's supposed to
I
be this year, right?
I don't think it's gonna be Doctor Strange 3 like incursions or whatever. We don't have a name for it, but I
Oh, you know what? I think I have an answer, but you go ahead.
if I had to guess what he's gonna come back as next year, it would
Yeah.
probably just be like like an end credit scene.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
feel like
yeah, probably, yeah.
he could probably just he's probably just doing an end credit scene for another movie, or maybe he filmed something and then they're putting
Oh,
it in another movie
so
for next
according
year.
to Wikipedia, I thought What If was going to be like one of the first things we saw this year for Phase 5.
Right.
Um, Wikipedia says TBD. So has that been delayed? What If season 2? Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. My guess is Deadpool 3.
Think so? You think
Yeah.
he'll like stop the multiverse stuff?
Yeah, Deadpool 3 sounds like it's going to heavily involve the multiverse. From the rumors, the TVA are going to be involved.
Okay,
But
that's
there's
cool.
I don't think there's any like I think that's all been like from like bait sources, so I don't
Right.
know if I trust that, but it does
It
sound very
should be.
possible.
It should just do the last
Yeah.
one of Deadpool kills the MCU. That would be amazing, though.
Yeah, I mean it sounds like because the last thing we saw of Doctor Strange, he and Charlize Theron were going to travel the multiverse and stop incursions. And it
Yeah.
sounds like Deadpool and Wolverine are going to be traveling the multiverse and possibly causing incursions. I don't know.
That would be. Yeah.
So, yeah,
That's
we might see
that
Doctor
sounds
Strange in
amazing.
Deadpool 3. But
Yeah.
that's what he could be saying. If he's going to appear in something next year, that's what that can be.
That pisses
Um,
me off. I still have to wait a whole summer for Deadpool 3, though, or possibly longer with the actor and writer strike because I want to watch
yeah, I mean the
that one.
release date is supposed to be May 3rd for Deadpool 3, but that's probably going to be delayed.
Yeah.
Although to be fair, they pushed up the release of Deadpool when they delayed several other movies at the same time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was planned to come out earlier than originally planned, but now they might have to push the release date again. Um, yeah. So that'll be interesting. That there's gonna be like a lot of theories on Deadpool until we know like more information.
Yeah.
Um, Charlize Theron said that she hasn't heard from Marvel in regards to a character, so she doesn't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So I don't know if
Is her
she's.
name pronounced Theron or is it Theron? I
It might
always
be
say
Theron. I might be
I
pronouncing it wrong. I
I always say
apologize.
Charlize Theron,
I
and I'm like,
apologize.
yeah, I don't actually know which way it is. I always thought it was Theron,
We
and
will
you're
look it
saying
up
Theron.
and find out for next time.
I was like, this
Let
is
us
kind of bugging me.
let
I was
us
like, have
know
I
in the
been saying?
comments.
I was like, have I been saying it wrong this whole
I
time,
could
or
be saying wrong. I thought I heard it that way. That's why I've
yeah,
been
I don't know.
saying it.
Yeah, I love Charlize Theron, but I've
Theron.
always said Theron.
Yeah. I thought I heard somebody say
Theron.
it the other way. That's why I've been
Yeah,
saying it this way.
yeah. I
It's just
think
one of those things. Like you
I
never know.
definitely have older well, my parents. I definitely
Yeah.
have parents and my in-laws who say Theron, and I'm like,
Oh
that
really?
doesn't. It's like that doesn't sound right. I don't know though. I have no
I don't know.
idea.
Yeah, that's how I've heard it. Kit Harington is another actor who said um that or I don't know if he's heard from Marvel or not yet, but what he said recently was that everybody was assuming that his character is going to be in Blade because at the end of Eternals, the end credit scene,
Yeah,
um, uh, the actor for Blade is going to be Blade, Mahershala Ali.
yeah,
Um, he said, "Are you sure you're ready for that, Mr. Whitman, or something like that?" Um, so that was Blade talking to his character, the Black Knight, is what he becomes.
right.
So everybody's just assumed he's going to show up in Blade. He said that was never the plan for the character.
Mm.
So where the hell is he going to show up? That's the other
Uh,
question.
Yeah, maybe
Eternals 2?
maybe something else.
Yeah.
Maybe the blade was just a nod to the character. Maybe they don't have any actual like a written story yet for it. Maybe at the end of Blade, we'll see Kit Harington's character just training with him because
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
he's not
Right.
ready for anything yet, right? He doesn't even know he had a like a lineage of that with what was a sword he found? Is that what he found?
Yeah, it was a sword. It had some black goop on it.
Yeah. So maybe maybe at the end of the next Blade movie. When is that Blade movie supposed to come out?
Man, I don't. At this point, I don't think it's coming out.
No. Okay. Well,
It keeps getting the production keeps getting just
yeah.
destroyed every time.
Whenever they decide to make that, maybe we'll just see a nod. If they have something to go with Kit Harington's character,
Yeah,
maybe all we'll see is like him training, and we'll see like a scene where he's like, I don't know, whether he's using a sword or whatever. Maybe he's just like destroying a bunch of stuff, and they're
yeah.
like, "Yeah, you're ready." Like, I don't know. Maybe he's been training for a bit. Who knows? He lost his girlfriend. She just found out was a created alien who just got pulled away by
Hmm.
the what was that thing? The Celestial Judgment or something?
Yeah. It's not. Yeah, Erisham.
Airsham.
Erisham.
Yeah. So Airsham has all the ones from Earth. He stole all of the Eternals from Earth, so there are no Eternals on Earth right now.
Hmm.
All of them were taken by Irisham, and then the other ones left on the ship.
Yes.
And the ones on the ship uh, are with Thanos' brother, Star or something,
Star Fox.
Star Fox, and a little. I don't
Patton
know.
Oswald.
Yeah, what is he like? He
uh,
reminds me of the
Pip. His name is Pip.
yeah Pip. I can't remember. I can't physically remember what Pip looks like right now. I remember he's holding a mug, and I think he was drinking.
Yeah.
But he reminds me of the little goat in Hercules.
Yeah, but that was played by Danny DeVito, I think, right?
Yeah, Dave. Yeah, Dave. Yeah.
uh, yeah. What are those called? They called fawns or something? Or am I thinking of something else?
Uh,
Like a half goat, half man, half goat, or something.
Satyr, I think.
Okay.
I think they're called a
Um.
satyr.
Yeah. We know that Eternals 2 is in the works because Patton Oswalt himself leaked that out during an interview like a year ago, I think.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, that's happening. To be honest, like if I can be like completely honest, I think Secret Wars is coming out too soon.
Think so, yeah.
Yeah. And I know like I'm not a huge fan of like letting the multiverse saga drag on. Like
Yeah.
I think that's gonna have a definitive end. We're gonna like have nothing to do with the multiverse saga after that. But I think Marvel is establishing all of these new characters or like hinting at them, and there's no chance for them to breathe before this big multiversal crossover event that's supposed to
Yeah.
be like Endgame. Like I get that it's what is it? It's planned for 20 probably like 2026 or something those Avengers movies. Mm. So I get that they're quite a way away, but in that time we're not getting sequels to stuff because like that stuff hasn't been announced unless they're going to like shove everything in right before that movie. But it sounds
Right.
like whatever sequels we have, like Eternals 2, um, like whatever else we've been seeing, like another Moon Knight or stuff like that. It sounds like any of that stuff's like planned after Secret Wars because they haven't really talked about that. Everything they talked about is like established characters we already know, or it's the first time we're going to be seeing new characters. Like they're still introducing new characters. So like I don't know if we're ready for Secret Wars by the time it comes out.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know where to go from here. I honestly, I don't know. I'm not really this. The multiverse stuff is cool to see crossovers or to see the incursions thing. I'm really excited about because that
Yeah,
seems
we're
really
gonna see
cool.
like that ramp up, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that's like the big thing I think that's drawing me. I
Unless
was
Secret
really
Wars is gonna be a two-parter, it could be because like Infinity War was, right?
yeah, I was really excited to see um like Kang. I thought Kang was so cool to see for the first time in Quantumania, but then they sort of killed off one. And
Yeah,
I really got to know like that guy. So I don't like the
there's a
idea of
million other
kill.
ones. We'll,
I
we'll
know.
get more.
So I know, but I like having like I think I talked about it before. I like having a set villain because I don't
Yeah,
care how many Kangs you kill. I want to kill the one that like pissed me. Like I want the revenge on the
yeah.
one that
I
like
don't think
really got.
he's it. I think there's a different one.
I know.
Like
That's why that
he's
bothers.
not the Loki Kang.
Yeah.
The Loki Kang is probably the one that we need to watch out for. So we'll
Right.
we'll
Right.
see that in Loki too.
Um. I know, but the Loki one we were talking. I think he talked about the conqueror. I think they talked about a conqueror a lot, and this one was the
Yeah, but
conqueror,
like
and all the other
most
Lokis
of them are
are.
conquerors.
Yeah. I don't know. It just seems weird to only banish one to the quantum realm. That one had, and that guy could travel the multiverse. So what else can? What's the next guy gonna do? What's
They
bigger
can
than
all travel the
traveling?
multiverse.
Yeah. I don't
It's just
know.
that he was wiping out. So I mean, this is going into spoiler territories, but this is also just speculation based on what I know from the comics.
Yeah.
He was wiping out timelines. He said he was doing that so he could win. And then he
Yeah.
also said, "You don't know what's coming. I do." Because he was, and he did mention the problem with all the other Kangs is they're just like they don't have the same sort of vision that he has. They don't see what's going on. He says they're playing with timelines recklessly. They're causing incursions, worlds colliding with each other. So he's basically trying to undo what all the other Kangs are doing, which is
Sure.
essentially setting up what led to the original TVA from Loki season 1, which was like stopping the multiversal war. Like he's basically seeing the multiversal war coming. And so that way that he who remains created that single timeline. So that's what's happening. So I think we're gonna see like a particularly evil version of Kang that doesn't care about like trimming up the timelines like that Kang did in the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania.
Yeah.
Um, who's gonna be causing incursions because that's what he
That'd be,
wants.
that'd be cool. There was that Loki, or there was at the end of Quantum Mania. He did say like Ant Man was like, "Oh God, he said something was coming. Did I just kill us all?" And he's
Mm-hmm.
like, "Nah, I'm not gonna read into it." So maybe there was like a little hint to that. There's something obviously worse coming. Um, I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out. But I am excited. So I'm excited for more Kang. I'm excited for more incursions. Now I'm really excited for Deadpool just to see what's going on. But I don't really count. I'm not really counting that yet with the MCU until I
It
like
will be,
see.
yeah.
Yeah, until I see it. Um, I think my two things. One is something I want to see happen eventually. I don't know if it's ever gonna happen, but I want to see. Oh God, I want to see Galactus on screen.
That's gonna happen.
Like it is gonna happen.
It has to.
Like I want to see Galactus so bad. Like I want to see.
There's a director that
Yeah.
I don't know if they've talked afterwards because Kevin Feige knows that this director wants to do something with Silver Surfer.
Okay.
He's like I want to do Silver Surfer. And then Kevin Feige was like immediately interviewed after that. Like this director says he wants to do Silver Surfer. He's like he's great. We need to talk to him. But I don't know if they've actually did anything in regards to Silver Surfer. Um, I think that
There
was at
was
the time where they're like just acquiring Fox. I think so.
there was a Galactus and Silver Surfer in Fantastic
Or
Four
two,
too,
yeah.
right? Yeah, that
That's
was
what like
I don't even
Silver
remember that.
Surfer is Galactus's herald. So like you kind of have to have both of them together, but not
Yeah.
really. You can have them separate. You can have a separate Silver Surfer story. You can have a separate Galactus story.
What did
But
he do again? Silver Surfer? Did he just go to planets and
yeah,
then?
yeah. So Galactus pretty much commands him like go to planets and figure out which one is I'm having for dinner.
Okay.
That's pretty
All right.
much what it is. Like
Yeah.
prepare my food. So yeah, you kind of expect Silver Surfer and Galactus to go hand in hand.
Okay. Yeah. So that I'm excited for because I think I want to see it like done really well. I might watch Fantastic Four 2 again just to see how they did it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I gotta rewatch like
It
all the
wasn't
old
good
Marvel
though, right?
movies. Well, I okay. No, I don't
I
think they're
don't.
good.
Yeah, I don't remember
I
this. I
remember the
remember the.
first one, and I'm like, this is a really good movie. But I think if I watch it now, it's been a long time since I watched it. I think
I
if I
think I'll
watch
hate
it
it.
now, I'm not gonna enjoy the movie.
Yeah. I think that's like me with Blade. I don't remember Blade that well, but I want to watch him again. But
Yeah,
if I
you
watch him, I
should.
think I'll be upset. I think I'll hate him.
So I I rewatched all three Blade movies because I haven't seen all of them,
Right.
and my brother didn't see any of them. So I'm like, they're working on Blade. Let's watch Blade. Now Blade's been like delayed to who knows how long. My brother loved. I don't know. I can't remember what his thoughts were on the third one, but he loved the first two.
Yeah, I remember he said that
Yeah,
too as well.
I did not. I'm like, these movies suck. So
Um,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that there's a lot of Blade fans. To be honest, I'm gonna catch even more hate for this. To be honest, I like the third one better than the first two. I know that a lot of people hate the third one, but I thought it was
playing with
better.
fire now too. Playing with fire. I do remember. Oh, and my other thing that I really wanted to see was uh, the beacons. I want to know what the rings are communicating
Hmm.
to and what the beacon is. Like that's
Yeah,
the other thing that's like driving me crazy because I'm like it's too long to like
that
know
I
about.
don't know. Yeah, I don't.
Uh,
I don't have any theories onto what the beacons do.
I think you and I think our first theory was that they were communicating because they were like galactic sort of things. We thought they were maybe something that was communicating to Galactus. I think we both said
It
that in one of
could
our.
be. Yeah, it
I
could be
think
like what's directing Galactus to
yeah.
those planets.
Yeah, I was also thinking because they have like galactic-ish powers, maybe the bangles, the rings, anything else we see, maybe those are weapons that are so like maybe we'll I don't know what the MCU's direction is, but maybe we'll find that they uh because the bangles aren't a thing in the comic books, right? She just actually has her own powers, but now she has
They
powers from
kind of are, but they're not a Miss Marvel
okay.
item. Like they're something else.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe they're gonna lead to something that's drawing Galactus to them,
Yeah, could
but
be.
maybe altogether these things are used to fight Galactus. I don't know. I
Maybe
guess
we'll
we'll
see
find out.
more.
But
Yeah, we might see more in the Marvels. Maybe.
yeah,
I
I
think.
kind of hope. There's another part of me that's like, I hope these are like, I hope these bangles and all these different things. We'll see more of these little equipment powers, and they're
Mhm.
gonna lead to like a Mortal Kombat style tournament fighting thing.
That's. I
I
mean,
was
that's
like,
essentially what Secret Wars is. This is like a
I was
crossover, like get your action figures, make them fight, kind of uh
that's a,
story. So
oh, I didn't know that. Secret Wars is that like a is it kind of like Civil War? Do they fight each other?
it's basically it was a story that was essentially that. It was like, how do we sell like all these action figures, right?
Yeah.
So like, let's make a comic book that has all the characters and they fight each other.
Hmm.
So that's pretty much what it was. Um, so without getting into like major spoilers on the story, but yeah, it's a way for like all of Marvel's worlds and everything to collide and have all the superheroes are pitted against each other to fight each other.
Right.
Now, granted, I don't know if they're gonna do anything with the original Secret Wars comics for inspiration in the movie, because it sounds like everything we have leading up to it is the more current version of Secret Wars. Was it? I think
Right.
it's like 2018. I think came out, um, which was more of like a Game of Thrones style inspiration for the story, but it had the same sort of concept. There was some similarities to the original story, but it was this really big, like ambitious project for Marvel where they're like setting up new rules, a new Earth, and reinventing characters and stuff like that. So um, yeah, it's a really big thing. So we could see like people fighting Mortal Kombat style with the
Okay.
artifacts.
Yeah, I'll be down. I'll be down for that.
Um, recently we talked about Harrison Ford not knowing what a Red Hulk is.
Right. Yeah.
So someone decided to ask Anthony Mackie about that, because there's an image that kind of spawned from that question spawned from right here, where we see Harrison Ford in sort of like tattered clothing, like his pants are ripped up.
Right.
So like we're kind of expecting like, oh, that's like him reverting back from a Red Hulk form. Um, and somebody asked Anthony Mackie that. I should pull up the quote actually. Let me find the quote, and he had a response. Let me find it here. Oh yeah, I have it in a separate window, so I'll pull it up. So he did acknowledge the picture.
Yeah.
Um, I'll pull it up here. Make sure that you're still on camera. Sorry. Wow, why are you not on camera? All right. So Anthony Mackie says he says, see, Harrison Ford and I go way back. A lot of people don't know this. This is our second time working together. He came down to Atlanta and they lost his luggage. So I gave him a pair of pants. But those are my work pants from working in the yard. Harrison, he's a curmudgeon. So he goes, Anthony, just give me the damn pants. And I was like, all right. So that's all that was. He just needed some pants.
That's all that was. Who? Wait, Anthony Mack. Wait, Anthony. Who said curmudgeon?
Anthony Mackie.
Who uses that in a
I
serious
don't
sentence?
know. I don't know. It sounds like something Harrison Ford would say.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't even focus on the rest of that sentence
Because
once
he's
you
like
said the
curmudgeon.
curmudgeon. I was like,
He's
who's
making a
who's just
joke. He's like, so it sounds like maybe he knows something. Like he's like, yeah, I need to make sure like I spin this. So I'm just gonna joke about it. I
yeah.
don't. It sounds like Harrison Ford's becoming Red Hulk and Captain America.
So, I and Harrison Ford is sorry replacing who again? He's replacing the governor.
William Hurt character.
Like he's like the gov
So in
governor
so
general.
so this is going to be Secret Invasion spoilers,
Yeah,
but yeah, he was a general in the Incredible Hulk. Then I think he got promoted in Civil War.
yeah.
Um, but now in Captain America, he's going to be the new president, which
Mm.
means things are not looking good for President Ritson in Secret Invasion.
Okay, all right.
So it kind of sounds like Talos died for nothing.
Yeah, yeah. If this guy dies or if he, yeah. Um. Okay, so this guy's gonna be the new president.
Mhm.
Harrison Ford's gonna be the new president, and he's gonna be Red Hulk. So that basically means so you're supposed to tell me after this whole time of him fighting Doctor Banner, hating the Hulk,
Yeah.
hating the whole all the serum stuff, he's gonna then go and expose himself to it, which I'm hoping is at least
Him or
accidental.
another character on the show
Yeah,
exposes him to it.
yeah. We'll see. I guess become Red Hulk. But do we know about Mr. Blue? If he's gonna be in it at all? I
Yeah,
think
he
we
is.
talked about him before. He's gonna be in it.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Blue is returning. I
Kind
thought
of
we talked about that
put the
before.
pieces together there.
Yeah, probably him exposing him to it.
Yeah. Um, there's a lot of other small stuff here. Do you want to look at the doc and then tell me what you want to? Oh shoot, no, actually, screw the doc. Screw the doc.
I was
You had a topic, right? You had like character. You had a list of characters and stuff you want to talk about.
I'll do that one next time. I'm still
Yeah,
adding to my list. My
gotcha,
list
gotcha.
isn't done yet,
Still
but I'll do
doing
that next time.
research.
Yeah, still.
Okay.
I got more to add now that we just know that I can. There's some in Guardians of the Galaxy at the end there that I wanted to add. I didn't add to my list yet, but yeah, I think on this doc we kind of went through
Oh yeah,
everything.
we did the Deadpool 3 stuff. Let's get rid of
Yeah,
that.
and we only have 3 episodes. We only have
Oh, we have two
three
episodes
episodes.
left of
Yeah, so
Secret Invasion.
2 episodes left, and we said we might hit a dry spell with Marvel stuff with the strikes.
Yeah,
So
when does the Marvels comes out soon, right?
I don't know.
Is that is that the summer or is it in the fall?
I think there's something that comes out in August. I think.
Maybe that's the Marvels. Wait, I still might have I might have the dates here still. Something's coming up. I'm surprised What If has been delayed.
Surprised Loki 2 hasn't season 2 of Loki hasn't come out yet.
Well,
That was the
that's
first.
what so what's in the fall is Loki season 2 and Echo.
Ah,
That's coming
okay.
out soon.
I
But I
thought
think
Echo was coming out or Loki was coming out soon.
oh shit, yeah, the Marvels is November. So I think
Okay.
it goes
What's in August? I could have swore there was something in
I don't
August.
think there's anything in August.
Hmm.
Um yeah, okay. So it's going to go Loki, the Marvels, then Echo. Cuz Loki's in October.
Loki, Marvels. An Echo.
Yeah,
Seems weird to make a show about Echo after
it
all the
doesn't.
others.
It's gonna lead into Daredevil.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's see a lot of people just like overlook that, and I yeah, I have mixed feelings about Echo because the character is cool. I
Are we
know
gonna
that
have so you're gonna have a blind person fighting a deaf person?
I don't know if they're gonna fight, but
Or we team up together?
yeah, they team up a lot. Echo is a cool character. I liked her introduction in Hawkeye. I was looking forward to it. I think they did that character. I think they did a really good job of that character. Kind of the focus was kind of pulled away for her though, because it's a Hawkeye show. There was two Hawkeyes, and there was also um Yelena and other characters, right? So
Right.
Echo was kind of like a little bit pushed to the side. But I think Marvel was happy enough with the actor that they started introducing and working on the show. But I mean, since then the show's been kind of like in limbo for production, kept getting delayed, and now they're releasing the entire season at once.
Hmm.
So I don't know how I feel about that. Obviously, we're not going to be doing a week to week for Echo because everything's going to be out at once. So whenever we all finish it, then we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Maybe we could try to do it like halfway. Like if
The
I'll
halfway
probably
point, yeah.
yeah, because I'll probably me and Jess will
I binge
probably
when
binge it.
Marvel like the Netflix stuff. Whenever the Netflix stuff came out, like I binged
Yeah.
and then like watch it all in a weekend.
It's so me and Jess did. We binged
Yeah,
it all. I don't remember if Hawkeye came out separate or not, but I
yeah.
remember
All the Marvel Studio stuff has been weekly.
okay, so when Hawkeye came out, me and Jess watched the entire series in a day,
So
like
you
one day
waited
during the
the
winter.
6 weeks and then you watched it all.
Yeah. Yeah, we watched that. I actually want to watch Hawkeye again because
I
there's
do
some
too.
things in it. I like the arrow stuff at the
Yeah,
end.
but I'm only watching it on Christmas.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna me and
Because
Jess are gonna
I
watch it
wanted to
again.
watch it last year, but like I didn't have any time to fit it in. So
Yeah. We had the Guardians thing to watch
yeah,
too.
and the Guardians thing was there too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll watch that next Christmas time.
Yeah. What was the name again? Sorry, this is off topic. What was the name of the girl from the end of Guardians 3? We were
Phyla
waiting
Vel.
for Viola. I'd heard of my thing.
She is. I think she's Quasar, right?
Oh
Her
yeah,
character's
quiz.
name.
Yeah,
We'll look it up.
I think it was Quasar. That sounds familiar. Um,
Uh, or maybe it's just Phyla Vel. It might be like Captain Marvel. Character first appeared in Captain Marvel.
hmm,
Um, Ailey says, yeah, Quasar. Yeah, she did go by Captain Marvel at some point.
hmm,
But yeah, Quasar is the character name. So yeah, cool.
okay. Yeah.
Do you want to do? I'll be honest. Like, if you're looking at the doc, a lot of stuff I gave you the rundown for after our podcast, so we didn't actually talk about it on the podcast. So I don't know if you want to pick up anything on that doc there. I'm gonna
Uh,
erase stuff that as we've talked about it.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I don't have anything else on this.
well, there's most of the stories are in the more section, so there's like the Um, I mean, the biggest thing out of all of them is that this was a while ago that Disney had some sort of settlement with Victoria Alonso after she was fired. Um, but I don't really think we know anything about the settlement or why there was a settlement. All we know is she was fired, and I think she was looking to sue. But
Yeah.
there's the Thanos thing. I don't think we talked about that. The thing that was cut out of Infinity War.
Uh,
We might have talked about it. I'll have to look back.
what was the scene cut out of Infinity War when
There
they?
was an extra 45 minutes, and for we might have talked about it because I don't have it in the
Yeah.
doc, but I have the slide for it. So
Yeah, we talked.
let me get rid of that.
We talked about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
the destruction of Xandar.
yeah,
Yeah, we talked about that. I think the last two times we mentioned it both, just from
yeah.
uh fight with
Some
Thanos.
quick things I can just clear off here. Kristen Ritter was in a podcast. We've talked about recently how there's been like they've been post like other actors from like the Defender series on Netflix around the time that Daredevil Born Again started filming. They were posting like stuff like hinting that they would show up in the show, but like not outright saying it. So like we're kind of under speculation that they might show up in Daredevil Born Again. But Kristen Ritter was in a podcast saying that she hasn't been called by Marvel.
Okay.
So again, we don't know if she's playing a werewolf or not. Um,
Who is Matthew Lawrence again? Because I think we talked about that as
he's
well.
so he's hasn't shown up in the MCU. There's a reason why. Um, this is an actor I know pretty much only from Boy Meets World. Um, but there was a story that was making its way across the internet. I'll pull it up here. Um,
I forget who Matthew Lawrence is. I gotta see a
I have his
picture of
picture
him.
on screen. Yeah, he was in Boy Meets World. I think he was.
Just loves Boy Meets World.
Yeah. Did you watch Boy Meets World?
I never watched it. No, just
Okay.
watched it
One
like
one of the main
twice last
characters'
year.
brothers.
Okay. I've seen episodes when I watch her when she's watching it, but I
Yeah,
don't really.
like the old, like as the characters got older is when he started showing up.
Okay.
It's like I think it's like a long lost brother to one of the characters.
Okay.
Um,
But so he lost a role in the MCU because he went.
yeah. So basically he's saying that a director asked him to strip. Um, yeah, he says I've lost my agency because I went to the hotel room. I'm wondering if this is who's that guy, like that really shitty guy. I um who
Starts with a W, I think his name.
yeah, that guy. So it might have been that, but I don't know if he did this with male actors too.
I think it.
Okay, so it might have been him, but I don't
The
think he
whole,
had anything to do with Marvel, did he? Maybe, I don't know. He says,
I don't know.
anyways, Matthew Lawrence says, I lost my agency because I went to the hotel room, which I can't believe they would send me to, of a very prominent Oscar award winning director who showed up in his robe, asked me to take my clothes off, and said he needed to take Polaroids of me. And then if I did X, Y, and Z, it would be the next Marvel character, or I would be the next Marvel character. I didn't do that, and my agency fired me because I left this director's room. I didn't do that, and my agency fired me. Yeah, so he just repeated what he said. Yeah. So,
Do we know
um,
what year that took place? I'm curious as to what character he would have been,
he
or
didn't
what
say.
would have been promised.
He didn't say. Harvey
I can't remember.
Weinstein is the is the
Thank you.
is the asshole. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking of the last name. I was like, it's
Oh,
I was like, it's Weinstein.
yeah, that's right. It's Terry Crews said he was groped in an industry function as well. But
Terry Crews did that?
Terry Crews didn't say who it was either though, I don't think.
Hmm.
Um
It's
yeah, so
just
I don't
some
know. A
people just
lot
have
of
too
people
much
are
power, man.
yeah, a lot of people are saying like it's not online at least saying it's not hard to guess who. And I'm
Right.
trying to think like is it an actual Marvel director, like someone we've seen like Joss Whedon or something who's been under fire under his own controversies and stuff? Because I don't know. I don't know who the obvious guess is, and I'm probably going to sound like an idiot once people tell me. Um,
Is
but I
Joss
don't know.
Whedon? Is that the guy from Big Bang Theory?
No,
Something Whedon? Or am I thinking of a different Whedon?
I don't know who you're thinking of, but
Thinking of a different
Joss
character. I
Joss
think some.
Whedon did Buffy the Vampire Slayer,
Hmm.
Firefly,
Thinking of a different.
Dollhouse,
I'm thinking of someone wrong. Someone
first
I
two
think from
Avengers
Star
movies.
Trek or something.
He filled the role for Zack Snyder for um, Justice League, which spawned all these accusations to begin with for Joss Whedon, where it was Ray Fisher who played Cyborg started accusing Joss Whedon of a whole bunch of stuff, and also executives at DC or at Warner Brothers,
Yeah.
which also caused a lot of other former actors and associates for Joss Whedon to come out and say about talk about how much of a horrible person he is. Um, and and that's why we're not hearing anything from Joss Whedon, or we haven't for quite some time.
Hmm. I don't know. I don't know the guy anyway, so
Um, yeah, a lot of like my favorite stuff he's worked on, so
yeah,
it's really a
I think
shame.
I think we sort of talked about that before
Yeah,
because I remember bringing up Boy Meets World again.
Boy Meets World.
Yeah. What did I say? I don't
You
know what I
said
said.
Boy Meets
Yeah.
World, but I don't know why.
Okay. Oh, I said I remember we talked about. I think we talked about this before because I remember bringing up Boy Meets World, but I
Yeah,
couldn't remember why.
because we, like I said,
Okay.
like I was brushing over some stuff that we could talk about after we did one of our podcasts,
Mm,
because we took a lot of time on that podcast.
yeah.
Um, Another actor who's ready to reappear in the MCU but hasn't been contacted yet, but I think he's trying to like put it out there now.
Yeah.
The actor, I can't remember his name. He's played. I think he's on The Last of Us now. Plays Tommy. But he played Ghost Rider in Agents of
Or like,
Shield.
yeah.
Yeah. So he's like before he's
Or
like,
like,
yeah, I don't
okay.
know if I want to show up, if I want to return as a character. It depends what they do. But now he's like being vocal about it. He's like, yeah, I want to be Ghost Rider in the MCU. Let me be Ghost Rider in the MCU.
Oh yeah, because it's gonna be a huge payday, and he'll actually like I don't know this guy except for Tommy from the
Yeah.
from The Last of Us because I just watched it. I like him as Tommy. I thought he was a good actor, but I don't know anything about him. So you become Ghost Rider in a blockbuster movie, and well, yeah, I'll know your name after that.
There's
Sorry,
not
when
so he's not like he's not Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider. He's a different character.
right. Quick question: was Agatha the Coven of Chaos? Is that in August? Do we
No.
know what? Do we know when
When
that
is
is?
that? I don't know. I think that's
I
um
thought I remember that one coming up soon. There's some.
that's a
When
good
was?
question though. Agatha is one of our stories. What's over there? There's not much else I can say about that. He played a good Ghost Rider. I hope he returns. I don't know if he will.
Yeah.
Um, but we do know something about Agatha Coven of Chaos. It's going to be 9 episodes. So, um, that tells
We
me that they're probably going to be half-hour episodes.
okay. So it's how many episodes? Sorry.
9.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it says there.
Agatha
Nine
Coven
episodes.
of Chaos released. Um, was reported to be releasing in 2024. In May of this year, that's when they announced that.
Yeah, we definitely talked about some of these because I remember we talked about Anthony Hopkins as well and
No,
Anthony
we
Mack.
we we talked about that off stream.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
We did. Okay.
yeah. I listed off all of these like for potential stuff that we could talk about.
Mm,
But Agatha Coven of Chaos, uh, being 9 episodes, and the cast list that we know so far tells me it's going to be a comedy.
yeah.
So I don't know how you're gonna feel about that. I know you're not a fan of Catherine Hahn.
Nah, we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm a fan of Catherine Hahn. I like WandaVision. I like comedies. So I'm
Hmm.
looking forward to it. And I like the rest of the cast that they announced too. Um yeah, do you want to talk about Anthony Hopkins?
It's just short, but I thought we talked about it before. I guess it was off screen though.
Yeah. Let me get
Yeah.
rid of these other slides here that we don't need. Um yeah, Anthony Hopkins was interviewed recently about being in the MCU, and it's kind of disappointing what he said. I'll pull
Yeah.
up the quote here. Um, he basically said it's pointless acting.
That seems.
I'm gonna be kind of paraphrasing. Oh yeah, here's the quote. So, it says no acting required. It's an acronym, I guess. NAR. So it says I try to apply it to everything I do. No acting required. On Thor, you have Chris Hemsworth who looks like Thor, and a director like Kenneth Branagh who is certain of what he wants. They put me in armor. They shoved a beard on me. They said sit on the throne, shout a bit. Um, and I think there's more to this, but basically saying like he's just standing or sitting in front of a green screen and he doesn't think about it. He's just like, this is pointless. It's not like
I
real acting.
I can see where he's coming from.
Yeah.
When everything around you is like screens of CGI and you're just talking to the camera or just talking to one person, it's not like that crazy. Like I know there's definitely some acting in the MCU and you gotta act a certain way, or if you lose a character and you gotta cry or whatever. But like he mostly had like his scenes were short. He didn't have like a long thing to give off. He mostly just screamed at Thor or said a couple things and he was kind of done. Like
Yeah.
I can see what he means. He's definitely done bigger projects in his eyes.
Mhm.
It does suck because I like him. It sucks to hear that.
Yeah, that was the shocking thing for me is
Yeah.
like I'm kind of surprised he's coming from that point of view because he did such a good job in the movies we've seen him in.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I can see where he's coming from though. I definitely think he's done more in some of his other projects, but I also think they sort of wasted Odin in the MCU. Like I would love to watch more of Odin. Like I would love to
Yeah.
see it. They said he had a bad past where he kind of wiped out and conquered a bunch of places. I think that would be fun to watch as a younger Odin
Yeah.
and like maybe a young um Hela just conquer places. I think that would be freaking sweet. And but I guess for Anthony Hopkins though, I just feel like um what am I trying to say? I guess I just feel like I would have liked to see more of his Odin on screen, but we can't now. So it just kind of
We
is
could see now, probably not Anthony Hopkins. I doubt they're gonna. I'm sure if they have like a flashback scene, that he'd be like, "Yeah, I'll show up for it."
yeah.
But yeah, I doubt we'll see Anthony Hopkins in the MCU as Odin.
Mhm.
But there is potential story for a younger Odin.
Yeah, so
Like,
that would be sweet.
yeah, if like a different actor is playing Odin.
Right. But again,
Yeah.
still to Anthony Hopkins, it makes sense that he was just kind of like, yeah, I didn't have to do much. I just
Yeah.
screamed and whatever. What would be cool is if we saw maybe like in Loki, if we saw some flashbacks of Loki and Anthony Hopkins,
Ah, yeah, that'd be cool.
like that would be cool to see him like talking with
We could.
like Loki, and you could get, you could do the like him teaching a younger Loki how to fish or how to use magic or something. Like that'd be cool. I mean, he didn't really teach Loki magic, the wife did.
Yeah, yeah, Frigga. So like we could have some like flashbacks of Frigga showing him
Yeah,
how to do magic and
yeah.
shit, or
That
even
that
with
would
Sylvie.
that would be fun. I
Yeah,
think that would be so cool. Oh, Sylvie too. Hey,
yeah,
like you use the same Odin, but
yeah.
you
They could
use
have Anthony Hopkins and the actor for Frigga come back and like do like the face CG like they're doing with Nick Fury right now,
yeah,
and
yeah,
just like and show them like raising Sylvie for
yeah.
more of a backstory.
You could also do a different Odin too if you wanted. So
Could,
that could
yeah.
be your playoff for a different Odin. So
Mm-hmm.
she had different parents who was maybe, I think she said her parents sucked, I think is why she
No,
kind of,
no,
or
the
she had good
the
parents. I don't
parents, yeah,
remember.
she had good parents that told her that she was adopted like right away.
Mm.
So like they treated her differently than the Loki that we know.
Yeah, so that's cool. There's potential there with this. That's what I like about the multiverses is like not everything has to be a prequel or whatever. You could
Yeah.
just do a different timeline of a character that we know of and do it differently. So that'd be pretty sweet.
Um, but speaking of Thor, Chris Hemsworth was also interviewed about Thor.
Mhm.
Um, and I guess the negative impact on Love and Thunder. Um, I'll see if I can find a quote.
It just sucks because I felt like he just made that movie for his kids,
Yeah.
and I like it wasn't a good send off for Thor's last movie. I'm not saying it's gonna be his last, but like I don't know. Do I want to see Thor be a dad in the next movie? Not really. Do I want to see him and his daughter fight stuff? Sure. It's not even really his daughter. It's like a guy he tried to kill his daughter. Like I don't know.
This was from GQ magazine. I did a search for the paragraph I want to find.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, he was interviewed. It says about the criticism on Thor: Love and Thunder. So the paragraph is everyone's a critic these days. Even Hemsworth kids' friends were in on it with the most recent Marvel offering, Thor: Love and Thunder. They didn't hold back. It's a bunch of 8-year-olds critiquing my film. He said, "We thought this one had too much humor. The action was cool, but the VFX weren't as good." He recalls, "I cringe and laugh equally at it." Um,
Thor says that.
well, those are like the quotes
Oh, yeah,
that the kids are, I guess, telling him.
yeah,
Then he says, "I think we just had too much fun. It just became too silly." And he says, "It's always hard being in the center of it and having any real perspective. I love the process. It's always a ride, but you just don't know how people are going to respond."
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that. I could definitely see them having a. They had a great time with it,
Hmm.
and then just you finish the movie and you're like, oh man, it's too cringy in a lot of it. Like I think that's like what it bothered me a lot. A couple jokes were good,
Yeah.
you know, the whole like little love relationship between both of his hammers was funny, but then it also just got weird. Like when the hammer like showed up next to his face, like it was a actual
I
entity,
love that.
but it was too weird.
Personally.
I thought it was funny,
Hmm.
but it makes no sense. I'm like, since when can these things just move on their own?
Yeah.
Like I thought that was just in straight insanity.
I
Like
mean,
that was
we've had our whole discussion on Love and Thunder in a previous podcast.
yeah.
You could look that up, but um, it's such a shame though because I'll sometimes think about this movie because there's some really cool shit in this movie,
I
and
love Mjolnir in it. Mjolnir is one of my favorite things. Was their way of bringing Mjolnir back was cool.
I like how they showed Eternity on screen because I was waiting for that um, you know,
Yeah,
thing to show up in the MCU. There's been some other cosmic entities that they've hinted at or showed briefly. But like Eternity was one where it's like in the comics it looks really cool. And I think they envisioned that very well in the movie. Um and that the fight scene on the I mean where the screenshots from the fight scene on that black and white planet was I think one of the cooler scenes in the MCU.
yeah.
But there's so much more that just kind of takes away from all that and like pushes it down to like the bottom of my MCU list. So it's really such a
I'll
shame.
still never know how Mjolnir got Jade to Thor in
Jane,
Jane. What did I say?
Jade.
Hold on. Jade, Jane. I'll never know. That
Yeah,
will piss both of us off forever.
I guess it's the she wrote in on Valkyrie's Pegasus, I think.
Come
So
on.
maybe the Pegasus has something to do with it. But
So you gotta show me that then.
yeah, but they've never shown the Pegasus to do that at any point. The only time we've ever seen that thing was in Endgame, I think,
Yeah,
and
we've
then in
seen
a
it in
flashback.
Endgame, and then a flashback in Thor. We saw all the Valkyries flying on
Yeah.
Pegasus. But you need to tell me what Pegasus can fucking do before you just before you just do it. Then,
How about this? How about this? So the last time we saw the Pegasus
yeah,
before Love and Thunder, um, she appeared in Endgame after going through one of Doctor Strange or one of the Sorcerer's portals. So maybe Jane hit up Doctor Strange and was like, "Hey, can you teleport me to where Thor is?"
should have fucking. She should have. We should have seen her
Yeah.
arrive through a portal. I'm sorry, but you need to fucking tell me these things. Like
Yeah.
that's crazy. Um, plus, like I don't know. Since when can Doctor Strange teleport something someplace without knowing what it looks like. Like one, no one of the other sorcerers can just
Well,
go from place to place. We can't. None of them teleport. I don't know. It's just too. It's too
he
much.
somehow got the message out to as many people as possible across the galaxy,
Yeah.
including Ravagers from multiple planets.
Which was
So
cool now because we know that there was a sorcerer ravager from Guardians 3. So now we at least know that the sorcerers can communicate with themselves somehow.
yeah.
So that made sense to me now. I'm like, cool. There's a
Hmm.
sorcerer ravager. So it makes sense.
I wonder if we'll see more of Howard the Duck now that James Gunn is no longer working on the Guardian stuff.
Why why is he the only one who likes him? What do you
No,
think?
well, he's so Howard the Duck's kind of like a joke character.
Yeah.
It was Howard the Duck is the first Marvel movie ever.
Which is weird for them to do that one first.
Yeah, and yeah, that was a movie. And
I
yeah,
never
so it's
watched
just
it.
been like a joke to include
Does,
Howard the Duck in the MCU. But
does Howard the Duck take place in space, or does it take place on Earth? First movie.
um no, the movie takes place on Earth.
Okay, I was gonna
But
say that. Did it?
he is an alien. Um and in the comics, most of the time I see Howard the Duck, he's on Earth.
Okay, so he's been hanging out on nowhere for a while, stuck with the collector.
Well, he was first in Nowhere in the first movie. Then he was on that like whorehouse planet in the second movie, and then he was on Nowhere again in the third
He was
movie.
in he was in Guardians too.
Yeah, he's the one who said once you're out of luck until you've gone duck.
Yeah, you're right. He was in that horror. Yeah, you're right.
Which at some point I'll probably make one of these podcast intros.
The podcast that's crazy. I forgot. I remember he was on that. I remember that. He was also in Endgame. He was in the fight scene.
Yes, yes, which a
Yeah,
lot of people miss, but in the
yeah.
background, I can't remember which shot.
He shows up right behind Wasp. I'm pretty sure
Yeah, I think you're right. There's
when
a
Wasp
bunch
was
of
on the screen.
Ravagers that walk behind
Yeah,
her, like one of the back portals, and Howard the
you can
Duck's
miss it
like
in a
walking through.
flash.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like for like a 2 second shot, he's in the background.
yeah. There, I think I saw another scene with him when I was watching it. He might be in the background fighting something, but it's very short scene. But I know at least there's one good shot where you can see him with a gun,
Hmm.
but it's also short.
Yeah.
Um,
I just want to throw this in there because it kind of in line with other stuff we talked about, but Chloe Bennett from Agents of Shield also um has not heard from Marvel in regards to returning back to the MCU.
said she's from Agents of Shield.
Agents of Shield, yep.
I never finished that either. What?
Yeah, I feel like we gotta because at some point I'm gonna be starting the series with my brother because we're almost finished with the Netflix shows. We're almost done the last season of Jessica Jones.
Yeah,
So that might be something where like since you've never seen it either, like we can all watch it together.
yeah.
Um,
The only ones I haven't watched was um like I watched everything else. Jessica Jones, I think I haven't watched the second season.
I
Luke
haven't even
Cage.
watched everything.
Does
Lu-
Luke Cage have two seasons?
Luke Cage is 2 seasons.
I watched the second one.
But like case in point, I haven't watched everything. One of those is I'm just trying to do as many segues as I can at this point. One of those is Runaways. I've watched the first season, like half of the second season, and just stopped watching. Um, but there's a story here that Disney just pulled down Runaways from Disney Plus and Hulu.
Yeah.
So there's a story recently where like Disney said they're going to start cutting content, like original content from their services, which sounds so weird to me. Like why? I don't really understand the reasoning why, but it just makes it like for example, like I don't have Netflix. But like there's a few things that I was using Netflix for a lot. One of those being the Marvel shows that they had, and then there's a bunch of other shows, and they all started wrapping up. But if Netflix was like, I mean, they do take stuff down. Obviously, Netflix doesn't own everything that they have, but there is Netflix original content, right? If they started
Right.
pulling down Netflix original content, that let's say like, they started pulling down Stranger Things, and I was really into Stranger Things. I'd be like, why do I have Netflix? Like, it's so weird for me that you're getting rid of content as some sort of incentive to get people to join Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I don't know. But at least in the US, I don't know about Canada, but at least in the US, they pulled down Runaways. And I don't understand why, because this is also another show which I have to start watching again soon. Like we're trying to go through the different MCU stuff that we've missed, right? And
Right.
this is one I haven't watched all the way through, and there's 3 seasons of this, so
I don't know. That's I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Could remove content. I never watched this one for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't even. I honestly, I think I've only ever heard about it once, so it already left my brain that easily. Um, I don't know. I didn't watch
I can
Agents.
list some other stuff that you probably haven't watched.
I didn't watch Agents of Shield.
Yeah.
I didn't watch.
Did you watch Agent Carter?
I didn't watch Agent Carter.
Did you watch Cloak and Dagger?
I didn't, but I want to watch that one. That's one I do
That
want to
ties
watch.
into Runaways, but I think you have to watch Cloak and Dagger first
Okay.
before the either the second or third season of Runaways.
Yeah.
You don't have to watch Runaways to watch Cloak and Dagger. You just have to watch Cloak and Dagger first.
Okay.
Cloak and Dagger actually references things from the Netflix shows, so
Okay.
it has like some tie-ins to the Netflix shows. So yeah, and then there's another show. It was like the last Marvel TV show before they transitioned to just Marvel Studios doing Disney Plus stuff. It's called Hellstrom. Um, so that was I don't think it was on Hulu. It was on something else. But it was one season, but it was obvious it was going to be one season because they're canceling everything, just putting everything on Disney Plus. Um, so that one I haven't seen either. They were going to do a Ghost Rider series at that same time, but they canceled the Ghost Rider one. Um, and then the other one that you definitely have not watched because you ask me every time I bring up a character is Inhumans. So that's the one with Black Bolt
Yes. Yeah, I know.
from
I knew
Doctor
I didn't
Strange.
watch them yet for
Yeah.
sure. And I didn't watch. Oh God, what was the one I was just thinking of? Shit, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't finish Miss Marvel yet.
Yeah.
I've watched three out
And you
of six,
haven't gone through She-Hulk.
and I haven't gone through She-Hulk. I
Yeah.
watched like 2 episodes of She-Hulk, but those ones are just I found harder to watch. So unless I don't know, there'll be something I watch soon. I think when I start seeing more like if we watch another movie and I see
Yeah, you
Bruce
should.
Banner on screen, I'll know I had to
Yeah. Well,
watch
I
it.
think the first thing would probably be Miss Marvel because the Marvels is happening in
Yeah.
November.
That's
So
3 episodes. I can crush that though. So that'll be something I
I
do
mean, it's been
soon.
so long since you watched the first three. I feel like you're gonna be lost.
Yeah. I'll figure it out. But I think
Yeah.
we should save the rest of these topics
Yep.
for next week
Yep.
because
Agree.
we're running out of content, or
Yep.
just in case. And then we have the finale. Maybe we can use the finale. We'll chat about um I don't know where we think the direction of the MCU is going with some of the new
New
characters we have on
characters. Yep.
screen.
Yep.
Yeah, some small people and some new heavy hitters. Other than that, I don't know what else we'll have to talk like maybe off screen, figure out what other Marvel stuff we can discuss, or we could always do some DC stuff. I guess I don't know.
In a Marvel podcast.
No, maybe we'll do a hit pause DCU.
DCU. Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll definitely do that when I cuz on I'll be honest, I don't care about the DC stuff right now until the James Gunn DCU starts. And he's
yeah.
so confused. Everything he says is so confusing about where it actually starts
Well, we
because
could just yeah,
he
we could always
says
critique movies though,
yeah, yeah.
because I want to watch The Flash,
I
and you and
do
I
want to
could
watch The Flash.
we could see if we thought it was good or
We could
not. I
start
even
with The
know,
Flash. I don't know if
even
I
though I'm
want to
so
talk about The
sick of it.
Flash,
Yeah, even though
but
I'm so sick of that actor. But
yeah. But well, here's the thing, because before I watch The Flash, I told my brother we have to watch Tim Burton's Batman, the one with Michael Keaton,
that was Tim
and
Burton. Tim Burton did that.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Tim Burton. And Jack Nicholson as the Joker.
Okay.
Because it's been a long time since I watched that movie. But I've watched it a few times, and I remember loving that movie. Cheesiness and all. And if you watch that and The Dark Knight, I feel like there's so many similarities between the two movies, but such a different tone between the two of them. So it's
Yeah.
really funny to watch like back to back. But yeah, so
I
I might watch that and then The Flash, and then that might be like the start of the DCU. I have watched DC movies, so I'm not like screw DC only Marvel. I'm not like that. I'm a huge fan of Batman. grown to like a lot of other characters from like the CW shows and stuff like that. That's usually where my DC information comes from. I've read a few comics, but it's mostly from the adaptations from live action or animation,
Yeah.
where I get the information from DC characters. So I do like a lot of DC characters. I don't like the direction that the DCEU was going with, and a lot of the movies that they had there. But
It was rushed.
yeah,
It was very rushed.
I'm so excited for James Gunn to take over because I feel like he's going to do the the correct job with the DCU. Um, but it's just so confusing right now because he says like, "Oh yeah, the Flash is a part of it, and then also Aquaman, and then also Blue Beetle, but nothing else from the past DCEU except for the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. But then
Yeah.
also the new DCU starts with an animated series that we're gonna start off with, and then Superman, and then so new Superman that doesn't. It's not the same canon as Man of Steel, even though all the other stuff that I just mentioned was the same canon as Man of Steel. So I'm so confused about where the DCU actually starts.
And that's why I was so scared about MCU with the multiverse
Yeah,
when we started pulling things from this.
I think the MCU is doing with all its faults and with all the criticisms with the current MCU right now. I feel like Marvel is taking the correct direction with the multiverse saga. I feel
I think
like
so
they're
too.
handling it very well. It's
Yeah.
easy enough to understand despite maybe some inconsistencies here or there or some like really head scratching plot holes or whatever. But I think overall general audiences I feel like understand how the multiverse works in the MCU, how timelines are different and everything. I don't think the same I don't think the same people going into the DCU are going to understand based on what we already know so far, which is very little, and the little that we do is very confusing.
Right. I understand. I like it. I was just that was my original theory when we did that because I MCU was so well organized and things worked off each other or bled into each other.
Yeah.
And then DCU was just like, here's Justice League. Now we're gonna do all the spin-off of each of all of them and how they met. And I don't know.
Yeah, I
It
don't
was
have a huge problem with that as other people did because a lot of people think that um, you should have the solo movies first before the Justice League, like Marvel did with the Avengers. Obviously, Warner Brothers wanted to do catch up, but I think also Zack Snyder wanted it to be that way too. So I think that was his direction anyway. And I don't really have a problem with like maybe you don't need the backstory. Maybe just do the team up movie to start with, and then
yeah.
do the solo characters after. I don't really have a problem with that, and I feel like a lot of stuff that we're seeing now is going towards that direction. I mean, the MCU Spider-Man, we didn't get the backstory. Well,
Yeah.
granted, we've already seen like five other Spider-Man movies, so we didn't need it. Um,
I
but
just
Jane,
thought yeah, I just thought it could have been done better. I
yeah,
do. Did you say sorry, did you say you watched the Suicide Squad
yeah,
and you like that one?
yeah.
Okay, I love that one too because it was obviously
I
done
just
by James
bought
Gunn.
I just bought it on 4K Blu-ray.
Did you watch the spin-off? What was it called?
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker. Yeah.
I watched the first two or three episodes, I think.
Yeah, that's like me. I watched like the first two or three. I didn't love it as much, but I want to finish it because
I will
I,
finish it at
I
some point. Yeah,
yeah same. But I really want you to watch. I think we should both watch The Flash and talk about what we think of it. And
yeah.
I really want you to watch
Gotta make a new intro then.
that other
And
guy I
assets.
love. Black Adam. I thought was pretty good
Black Adam.
actually. Yeah, I was
I
surprised
don't know
because
if I
I
care
knew it
about
was The
Black Adam
Rock,
though.
but
Also,
it's
yeah,
the other.
Shazam 2. James Gunn said Shazam 2 is part of it, but also not part of it. Like Black
But it
Adam's
was
not part of it.
Black. But Black Adam. Like, I wasn't really like didn't really care that much about the character. I just
Yeah.
started playing Injustice, too. Like I think like the end of last year, I started getting into the game. It has a lot of DC characters in it,
Hmm.
and then when I watched Black Adam, so many of those characters were on in this or in it. Like there's a
Yeah.
lot of other DC characters that I was like, this is kind of cool. This is why I want you to watch it so we could talk about these characters and how they were on screen.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm actually really excited for Blue Beetle. Is that a James Gunn film? Like
No,
he's work? Yeah, it is.
no.
It's not okay, but it still looks fucking cool. And I fell in love with Blue Beetle just from the game, just from
Oh
playing
yeah.
as him in Injustice. So now I really like Blue Beetle, and from what I gather, it's a alien battle suit that this kid gets, and I
Okay.
think it's sick. It's like kind of like it can kind of like create whatever you can think of. So it's kind of like if you had Iron Man's suit that could create anything a Green Lantern thought of, is sort of what I'm
Yeah,
gathering
that's what
from
it
it.
seems like. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will
So
commit to a Spawn Trap DCU, hit pause DCU.
yeah,
If we're going all in on the James Gunn DCU,
yeah.
so that means the animation
Yeah.
and the video games.
Oh, me and Jess will be watching them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So starting off with that, what's the first thing that's starting off with?
You have to play video
Commandos.
games to know what's going on.
He
in
says
stuff too.
there's gonna be tie-in video games with the DCU.
That's crazy. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right, that's all the time I got though.
That's
So
all we got. So yeah, thanks for hold on. What's happening here? My stream deck is going crazy. Thanks for watching, everyone. There's the music. There we go. We will be back next week talking about Secret Invasion episode 5 and our thoughts on what's gonna happen. Don't know why the music's so loud. I apologize. And yeah, our theory is we only got 2 episodes left, so it's wrapping up soon. So let us know your thoughts in the comments. See you next time, everyone.
see ya.